Rachel Zeigler went from Hollywood's rising star to being one of the internet's most criticized celebs. But is her career actually over, or is the hate just too loud right now? Let's dive into the controversies, the facts, and whether she still has a future in the industry. Rachel made her debut in West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg, a dream start. She even won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. But fame hit fast, and so did the backlash. It all began when Disney cast Rachel Zeigler as Snow White, to which people perceived negatively, but it was her promotional interviews that drew criticism from audiences. Her involvement in the live-action remake became a point of controversy after she described the original 1937 film as weird and extremely dated, and labeled the prince as a guy who literally stalks Snow White. Many fans saw these remarks as disrespectful to the classic tale.
Oh, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no-
Have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
In contrast, Kristen Stewart, who also played Snow White in a different adaptation, spoke positively about the character in interviews. She portrayed Snow White as a brave, warrior-like heroine, in line with the darker, action-driven tone of the film, and praised her for her purity and inner strength.
I loved Snow White's steady nature. I loved that it wasn't about being strong. It wasn't about being excited about going to kill the queen. It was really about finding it in her to be able to.
Everybody knows that her basic characteristic is that she's very compassionate and that she cares about people and sort of that she's ultimately selfless. And sort of put that character that we all know really well in a dangerous world and see if she can stay that way and obviously not just die, but also not become hardened. Really kind of maintain that heart.
After Snow White, the next wave of criticism came from a viral Shazam 2 press interview where Rachel said, and I quote, "I'm here because I had to be." Audiences slammed her as unprofessional and accused her of showing no enthusiasm. To be honest, I didn't think she was being rude, just straightforward. But with the Snow White controversy still lingering, this moment didn't go over well with the public.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes?
I needed a job. I'm being so serious. The reality was we were in the middle of a pandemic and I was not working and I couldn't get a job for the life of me because West Side Story hadn't come out yet and it was really hard to book work for me.
Rachel Zeigler's political views have also stirred controversy. In August 2024, shortly after the trailer for Disney's Snow White dropped, she tweeted, "And always remember, free Palestine." The timing of the tweet was heavily criticized, with many people saying she was using the spotlight from her film for political messaging. This wasn't the first time she's made bold political statements. Older tweets resurfaced where she criticized Donald Trump and his supporters. Some saw it as her being brave and honest, while others felt she was dividing audiences. Now here's where I think the real issue is. Celebrities, like anyone else, have the right to speak on political matters, but timing and context matter. If you're promoting a film, the focus should be the project. Political opinions can and should be voiced, but perhaps through personal platforms or interviews not tied to your professional work. The overlap between art and activism is real, but when people come to watch a fairy tale movie, they're not expecting to debate international politics. This disconnect is part of why some fans started to pull away. Rachel Zeigler is unfairly blamed for the movie's failure when the larger issue lies with Disney. The company made several poor decisions, like miscasting Snow White, using CGI instead of real dwarfs, and producing a poorly written film. Rachel received backlash, especially after criticizing the original Snow White, but co-star Gal Gadot made similar comments without facing the same hate.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937 and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be
yeah.
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Rachel's mistake was sharing political opinions during promotions, but holding her solely responsible for the flop is unjust. The blame should be shared, especially with Disney's misguided creative choices. Rachel Zeigler may be facing public backlash, but her career isn't finished, at least not yet. Her talent as an actress remains undisputed. From a PR perspective, taking a step back and regaining public trust could help. Whether she makes a comeback depends on her next choices. But what do you think? Is the criticism justified, or are people being too hard on her? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.